Friends, hello the world. Welcome back to this episode of Complaint Free Life. And with you, your host, Estelle Armandova. As you may have heard, recording this from Paris, in the heart of Paris, on Champs-Elysees. Okay, so the topic that I want to talk about today is the topic of what's available mindset. And I will explain to you in a minute, but I want to first talk about how this idea was given to me or how I came to realize that this is a big issue that I want to talk about. And the topic is coming from coaching one of my dear clients who is working in a UN system in the very high position, considerably that is a P4 in the UN jargon terms, if you're familiar with. And she was telling me about how she wants to transition from one position to another, and uh, but eventually transition out of the system. And we're with her, we're trying out how we can already transition without leaving the job, so that she can already use the confines of where she is as a lab or as a platform where she can try out how she could do that in a way that she respects her own wantings of what she really wants versus what's available out there. And when we were talking with her about what she really wants, she was always referring to, well, according to the compendium, which is a announcement of job availabilities within the organization, right? According to the compendium, she was saying, this is the only things that I have available. And I can't really go to this duty station because I probably need to go to non-family duty station in order to go higher because this is how things are, right? So this is where the what's available mindset coming from, because in her mind, she's saying that I can only apply for these positions that's available there, and I can't really apply to other positions even though they're available, but I can't really apply because I am in the family duty station and I can't really go to another family duty station because of the unwritten laws of the organization and all of this. And then I asked her, what have you ever applied for a position where first you decided what you really wanted and then chose what is out there that's fitting your schedule and your wanting? And she was very perplexed and said, well, it's never works that way. It's never available or possible that way. I just need to adapt to what's available out there. Right. So you can see that even after having, like, I think she's been working in the organization for 15 years or 13 years, I don't remember. Anyway, it's been so long that she's been working there, and she has lots of experience, she has lots of value and amazing staff member and professional, yet she's still limiting herself to say that, well, I can only do this and I cannot do that because of the way things work, and I couldn't possibly get it. And she has a baby, so she wanted to go to a family duty station, but she feels like it's not possible. So we decided, after lots of coaching, we decided that it's for her, we will be using the criteria that she really wants, which is being in the family duty station, at the same time applying for a higher position, and having the things that she wants in the duty station without limiting herself as to what's possible and what's not, and see how that goes. And we also discussed with her that this way she will find out lots of beliefs about herself and about her possibilities in the workplace. And we want to find out and uncover those beliefs so that we decide what to do with them. Right. So this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this what's available mindset and what we can do about it if we don't want to continue having that mindset. By the way, I'm very sorry if there are other background noises. I'm in a hotel. Unfortunately, I don't have any other possibilities to record this, so I apologize if your listening experience is a bit disturbed by the external noise. Okay, so what's available mindset is basically we are always looking out to the external circumstances and situations and seeing what is there that I can fit in versus what do I really want, and then have the external circumstance fit in my wanting. This is the difference that I want to talk about. And whenever I'm talking about this, you probably will be saying things like, well, it's not really possible that we can adapt the external circumstances to us because there are so many limitations or there are so many difficulties in that, and that's why it's easier to fit in to the external circumstances. And the people and I agree that it's easier to fit into the external circumstances at first, in the first glance. In the short term, it's easier because we will no longer be feeling anxious for not finding a job. We will have a stability and we'll just feel like we found our spot. But I want to argue here that in the long run, it's actually more difficult because we will be trying to get something that we don't want to get. we we will be getting something out of compromise. We will be getting things just because this is barely or somehow fits our requirement or our wanting, and we will just stay there. But then we'll be thinking about how we don't really like what we want, what we have, how to make things work, forcing ourselves to do the things that we may not like, etc. So that's why I want to advocate for always advocating first for getting what you want, being clear as to what you want, and getting the external circumstances fit your wanting and not other way around. Now, in the ideal world, if the external circumstances is offering exactly what you want and great in the long term, amazing, I'm happy for you. But I fear that oftentimes we are trying to fit into the external circumstances simply because we have beliefs about ourselves and our abilities that don't allow us to even consider having the external circumstances fit in our wanting. So let me explain. So, what's available mindset, when people have this what's available mindset, what usually people are thinking is that it's how it is, life is how it is. I have to just adjust to what's available because I have a list that I wrote it down. I'm not good at creating what I want, or I'm not really good at persevering, or I'm not really good at having what I want because I never have in the past, right? Or it's a lot of work, it's hard work that I don't want to be going for what I really want, and that's why I just settle with what I have. So these are the usual things that we may think about ourselves when we are always going for the what's available option, right? But those are all our beliefs about ourselves that we might have adopted as we grew up because we just followed the big crowd of how other people might be doing. And I understand that, and I have done it as well. And there's no judgment here if you're someone who is doing it. I just want to bring your awareness to, if you don't want to do that, it's an option and you don't need to do that. You can always decide what is it that you're really wanting and having the external circumstance fitting your wanting instead of you trying to fit into the external world. And this can be showing up in so many different ways. And I'm just using the work as an example, obviously, but it could also be in the love relationship, right? So in the love relationship, the way that it may show up is that let's just see who is available and who I can date, for instance, instead of who do I want to date truly that fits my values, or who I really want to be in the relationship, what kind of person I want to, right? So, and then start searching for that exact person. Instead, we often do is we just go out and see and then start dating different people and then find out, oh, I don't like this and I don't like this, or I like this. Or sometimes we're ready to settle because we are afraid of losing time or being late with our time, or being at a certain age, or having other constrictions that we impose upon ourselves, and then we just settle to what's available. So, as I said, whenever you are believing those things of life is just how it is, we just need to adjust, we just need to uh, get into what's available because that's easier, or because that's how it is, otherwise it's difficult, and all of this. Consider that first, these are the beliefs that you can change. And second, consider that, is it long term? Is it really serving you? Because if you are embarking upon a journey or an employment that you will not really like, after a couple of months of being there, when the excitement wears off, and then you will be struggling to keep up and maintain your enthusiasm or your passion, and at the same time struggling with your disappointment and all of this. And of course, this doesn't mean that we have to love our job all the time 100%. I'm not saying that, but if in the long run we're not really loving, or we're not really wanting to be in that environment, but we're forcing ourselves to be, then we will be likely to be either dealing with the struggles of forcing ourselves and doing all the things to get to work, or we will be wanting to transition again. And then we will be having another set of difficulties of, oh, I have to transition, this really doesn't fit me, and all of this stuff. And then we will be feeling like we're starting things over, which oftentimes we don't want to be doing. So that's why I really would love for you to consider that if you don't want to be in the what's available mindset, then here is what you could try and do. Wherever you are in your life stage, whatever the life you're having now, and you're feeling like you've been always choosing things out of what's available menu, so to say, of life, instead of deciding how do I want, what do I want, and how do I want to live my life, then let's start first getting into the inner world of our being and find out, if you could choose, or if you are able to create whatever you wanted, how do you want to do that? Right? How do you want to do, or what do you want to have? How do you want to spend your life? How do you want to spend your time? What kind of feelings you want to be having on regular basis? And oftentimes when I answer this question myself, the answers that come up for me is, I want to be fully in charge of how I live my life, what kind of work I do, how I spend my time, where I spend my time, with whom I spend my time, and I want to integrate all of that. And that's exactly what's happening now in my life, is that I am living my life the way I want to, in places that I want to, and doing only the things that I love doing. So this is the life that I'm creating. So this was only possible when I realized that I don't want to be in the what's available mindset anymore. In other words, I don't want to be um, in a situation where my promotion, my the way I help people, where I live, is decided by an institution or by an organization. And I wanted to have that freedom to be doing all of that myself, Now, you may not want to do this type of thing. You may want to do something else, and totally, absolutely great. I just want you to be just allowing yourself to be free to decide for yourself what is it that you're really wanting in terms of how you live, how you spend your time, how you work, what kind of work you do, what kind of fulfillment you want to have in life, and all of this, right? If you were able to create it, how would you do that? And then start exploring that. And then once you explore it, you will always have lots of the noise from your brain that will be saying, well, who do you think you are? You can't really do any of that. The money's going to run out and you will come back praying. I mean, my brain often also says or offers things like, this is not sustainable. You can't really have this type of a life when everyone else is suffering and all the things. And maybe you're just dreaming. It's not going to happen. This is my brain offers or used to offer a lot. And I think it still does in some different variations, right? And that's normal that we have that. We just need to be aware of them, but we don't need to listen to them. In other words, just because our brains will be offering these thoughts that limit us and hold us to stay where we are, where we maybe don't want to be, then it's normal that our brains don't want to lose that comfort, don't want to lose that stability, and that's why it wants to hold us where we are. Now, if those things come up, if those limitations come up, you need to answer them equally. You need to answer them in a way that says, yes, you understand, but you will still want to pursue your goal, right? So just because they appeared, it doesn't mean that it's a problem. It's a problem if we listen to it and start following those thoughts and those beliefs. So that's why I really want to encourage you to be aware and mindful of those thoughts coming up, but you decide then how do you want to do or what you want to do with them. In my case, whenever these thoughts come up, I always answer them by saying, yes, I understand that this is normal. I understand that this is how things are, but I'm still going to pursue what's important to me. And I still want to pursue no matter what. So there is this commitment from my side to say, yes, I can hear you. I can see all of this doubts and hesitations and fears coming up, but I'm committed to making this work and I'm already making it work. So I don't see why I wouldn't continue doing this. And I continue working on my goal, um, acknowledging that other thoughts are coming up. Right. And then the important part is obviously to be clear as to what is the next thing that you want to change and how you want to change it. So looking at where you are now and looking at where you want to go, looking at specifically how do you want to live your life, what are the things you want to have there, what are the challenges you will be encountering, and how are you going to overcome those challenges, excuse me, by developing your trust in yourself, developing trust in what you're doing, and then continue doing and working on it. Right? So there might be times when you will be feeling like it's too much pressure money-wise, for instance, that you need to really earn some money to continue working on your dream. Absolutely, you should and you could do that in order to relieve yourself from that pressure, but continue working on your goal and transition anyway, while also earning some money doing the regular jobs so that you can finally show to yourself that you are the person who is able to create what you want. You are the person who creates things of what you want instead of adjusting or adapting to what's available out there. Right? So the shift in the mindset there, I think, is so huge, is instead of just looking at outside and saying, oh, this is possible, Let me just get to that and let me just apply here instead. If you are really honest and if you really look inwards and find out what you're truly wanting, then let's create that wanting by creating the person you are who's able to make that thing work, who's able to make that dream work where the external circumstances fit your wanting instead of you fitting the external circumstances. Okay, my dears, I hope that I was able to show you what the what's available mindset is versus what do I want and what do I want to create mindset. And I really wish and hope that you will be trying out these and also exploring for yourself how that is to live in the what do I want to create mindset, because that will always bring the longer term well-being for you, and you don't need to be fighting a lot of the problems along the way, but rather overcoming the challenges that will lead you to what you really want instead of keep fighting against things that you don't even want in the first place, right? So if you want coaching on this particular topic or on any topic that I'm covering, please let me know. I will be happy to have a call with you. And also, I just wanted to remind you all that the retreat in Kyrgyzstan is coming up. It is September 12th to 16th, which then followed by a lifetime coaching with me and all of that for $3,000. I will be so happy to greet you in my country. I will be traveling to Kyrgyzstan next Tuesday, 19th, and then I'll be preparing all of the things for you all to come and join me and have this amazing retreat together on transitioning. And we will be talking specifically about your roadmap of how you could transition and make decisions and then coach on them. So, thank you so much. I had the pleasure talking to you, and I will speak to you next Friday. Bye.